How do I... It says I'm live, but it didn't ask me what video. You know what? I think we're live. What's up, Internet? I'm Claris Polaris, and this is Nerdy, and I'm running the show today. As you can tell, it's going really well. We get Nerdy Nightly, and we thought we'd share it with you. Oh no, it's not gonna go. Never mind, the Nerdy Nightly isn't gonna go.
So, are we just talking now? Are we live?
Yeah, I think we're live.
That is right. Welcome, everyone, to the Nerdy Wordy Book Club, episode 21, a full book recap for The Shadow Rising, the fourth book in Robert Jordan's series, known as The Wheel of Time. Claris, you and I are not in the same place.
No.
So...
No, we're not. So we apologize in advance for the delay.
Did you play the title behind the window capture?
No, it's the Nerdy Nightly is over top of it in the queue. So if it did, I don't know why.
I wonder if they got the music.
I don't know. I'm so sorry. Hi guys, welcome on in. If you've never been to one of our live shows, obviously they generally go much smoother because I'm not in charge. Hi, we missed you guys.
Claris, can you just, because I can't see, can you just check to make sure it's recording?
Yes, it is recording.
Fantastic. Hello, everyone in the live chat. Thank you for being here. Everyone who watches this later, thank you as well. I hope you got through that intro. And we could see it under the cam. It was definitely under the cam.
Well, I just
we're not together right now. I am currently in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I can finally tell people why. I've had to be a little bit cagey about it because I did not sign a contract. I am doing a world premiere of a new version of Ragtime. They've taken the musical Ragtime and they've cut it from 3 hours down to 2 hours to do a concert version of it with the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra. And so Stafford Arima, the artistic director, asked me to come play younger brother. And so I am doing that. We are going to be putting up the show next Friday and Saturday here in Calgary. It's an incredible cast of very talented people and a 57-piece orchestra doing a version of Ragtime. And I'm very excited. I have not been able to do a musical in over 2 years. And so this is a huge moment for me. We sang through the whole show today, and it's really fun. Just going to be completely honest, this does mean that next week we are not going to be starting book 5 just yet. For two reasons, really. One is I'm going to be very busy opening this show and this new version of this show. And the second reason being that we did our Obi-Wan Kenobi spoiler chat yesterday, and we're doing this video today. And it's not the best.
We're trying, guys, but it is certainly not our usual quality, I guess I should say. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so we're going to wait to start book 5 the next week after I'm back in Toronto, just so that we can really make the show the best that it can be, and so that the people listening to the podcast later get good audio quality.
Yeah, we do love our podcast listeners. We're trying to take care of you.
How is my mic, chat? Claris is using terrible headphones, so how's my microphone?
Yeah, how's the mic? Let us know how the levels are. We are using Discord, so unfortunately sometimes it kind of cuts in and out of audio, so if you ever miss something, let us know. We're going to try and do our absolute best. Mark Torres says, Lies, it's always a beautiful train wreck of a show. Thank you for that.
Mics are good.
Slightly different sound quality in Calgary.
Nathan Prime says we got the music. Are they still hearing music, or is that just at the beginning of the podcast?
Yeah, they better not be.
Kuna's, y'all, big props to making that big of a decision. Thank you. We feel good about it.
Yeah, it's tough, right? We love book club. We've said this many times. It's the highlight of our week always. But we want to make sure that book club is the absolute best that it can be. So
Apparently, let me turn my mic down a little bit. Apparently, my mic's a little bit hot.
Okay. I mean,
I can do that on my end, just a little.
I'm shocked.
Hopefully that's better. All right. You're not here to listen to us talk about our personal lives, though. I think we're all here to talk about the book 4 of The Wheel of Time, The Shadow Rising. And so my big question to you, Claris, is we've actually, for the first time, taken 2 weeks away from reading. This is the longest we've been away from the series in terms of this thing we've been doing for the past 21 weeks, or 22 weeks now, which is crazy. And so I want to know, like, how do you feel about this book since we've actually, like, sat and gestated it a little bit?
Oh man, it's kind of riffing off of your question, because I have so many feelings about it, but riffing off of your question, we finished reading this book. And then we read Brotherhood, which is like a normal book and not as dense as like a religious text. And it was so funny, like just noticing the difference. Not saying that like one is better than the other or anything like that. They were both excellent books in their own regard. But it was just a very jarring experience going from this to going to Brotherhood, which is more all ages friendly and much shorter and. But it's weird because I feel like I honestly remember this book better than I do Brotherhood. But maybe that's just because I loved it so much.
Yeah, to everyone who is talking about our tans, thank you. Yes, we both managed to not burn, which is really just magical.
What tan? Where?
You're pale, but I'm tan.
You are, yes. Nerdy got some sun, that's for sure. I applied my sunscreen properly.
It is funny. We got, there's like 330 pages in Brotherhood, which is a little bit more than we read a week of Wheel of Time. But I read it in like 3 hours, and I was like, this is the easiest possible read in the world.
Yeah, right?
I definitely agree with you. I think I used the word gestation wrong. So, chat, if someone could throw in the chat what gestation actually means, I would appreciate that.
We would like only the exact definition, please, and thank you.
Before we get into the questions that our lovely viewers and listeners left in the Discord, Claris, I just wanted to talk a little bit at the beginning of this about the last honestly, the last episode of this podcast. And I just wanted to like really dive into how are you feeling about where we left our 3 main characters and what you think each of these our 3 main storylines and what you think each of these things, where do you think these things are going as we start, I think it's the Lord of Chaos next.
Yes,
in 2 weeks.
I think so. Oh my god.
Gestation is pregnancy?
Yeah. I mean,
cool.
I mean, that's when it's commonly like used. I don't know if it is exclusively that, but I'm
gonna look it up. You start to talk about where you think this is all going, and then I'll look it up.
My thing is, the one character that I have a big question mark on is really Perrin, because I'm not sure if he's going to be staying in the Two Rivers or if he's going to be like reuniting back with our other friends.
I just want to be very clear. There are 2 definitions for gestation. One is the development of something over a period of time, and so I did use the word correctly. Because we've had 2 weeks for our ideas to gestate. I did use it correctly. Suck on that, live chat.
Oh my god! Wow.
Also, Fires of Heaven is next.
Yes. Sorry. There's like 15 of these things.
It's like 50.
Yeah.
So Perrin's the one that you're most excited about.
Well, definitely the most excited about because I'm really not sure where his story's headed next. I think that the next book we're going to have Rand figuring out the politics of the Aiel. I think I know Rand is like I gotta get a move on. I like stuff is moving. You know, he's really like itching to go, which I understand why. But I think that like being in charge of all the Aiel is going to force him to slow down for a moment. I think it's going to be a big challenge. So I think definitely at the beginning of the next book, he's going to be figuring out how to best communicate with them, represent them, and be he who comes with the dawn as best as he can. And then, oh man, and also with the girls.
Let's stick with that for a second, because I want to ask you a question. How do you think that him having to like, how do you think the inclusion of Asmodean as his like lackey is going to affect that?
Well, I think he's going to be. He's kind of already been. People have kind of already been coming at him from all sides, except now he's going to be in a position where he has to actually, in a sense, open up and show at least some measure of trust with Asmodean, because I don't think that he can learn to use the one power without that. And that's going to be the really tricky power dynamic. Obviously, Asmodean is not going to be able to like give him any problems, at least for several months, apparently. But yeah, I definitely think that Rand stuff is going to be more of figuring out the Aiel, figuring out the one power, figuring out his role in everything, as opposed to like big, epic, sweeping moves and battles. And I don't, maybe I'm completely wrong now that I'm saying it out loud, but at least I think that's how we'll start off.
Oh, for sure. I definitely think that the beginning of the next book is going to be very small, not in terms of like importance, but in terms of action. I think that there's a lot of, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like there's a lot of emotional storytelling that has to happen before they can get to the next stuff. I think that there's a lot of relationships that need to be figured out, right? I think that you have the interpersonal of many things. For Rand, obviously, how he's going to be working with Asmodean, as well as how he is going to be interacting with Aviendha, you know, how that relationship develops and where they head with that. For the girls, I think that figuring out what their relationship is with this Sanchin hanger-on that they've got.
Yeah.
And how, you know, and for her, how her life is so changed now that she's lost her culture and her people, and that she's living with these people. And I'm assuming like sticking with these people who culturally she doesn't maybe share any touchstones with, but has a relationship with and cares for now, and seems to want to be on that team, and how like their interpersonal relationships moving forward are going to be important. And then, you know, for Perrin, I think that Perrin is going to have to get used to being a husband, and that's going to be so interesting to watch as him and Fael figure that out. Rev Pembroke says, what about Couladin?
Yeah, he's going to be a pain in the ass. I think him and Savannah, like, are going to be like, again, like people coming at Rand from all sides. It's going to be like he's going to have to he's going to have to really watch his back. And I think that in this book he is going to have to learn to trust Moraine and Egwene, and even to an extent the Wise Ones, because you can only be a lone wolf if you're fighting, like, if you have like a small group of enemies. When when you're in a situation like this, I think that you absolutely need allies that you are able to confide in and trust. I think Aviendha obviously is going to be a big help for Rand, but I think that in this book he is going to have to come to terms with Moraine and Aes Sedai in general.
Yeah. I think that Couladin's interesting. Couladin's interesting because he is in this. He's going to be someone that Rand, I don't think, can beat by fighting him, right? I think that Couladin is going to be like the storytelling of Rand having to outthink his opponent in this case and politic his way into success with Couladin. I think that he has to win him over. I would actually really love it if Couladin ends up in going to Rhuidean and becoming the clan chief. You know what I mean? I think it would be interesting to have a clan chief who is so opposed to Rand on like such a deep level, and who Rand has to really win over. I don't know if that's possible now. I don't know that the Aiel are going to possibly let him do that after he faked being the Dragon Reborn, or the He Who Comes with the Dawn. I think that that's kind of a black mark for him in a way that I don't really know Aiel culture well enough to know, but I feel like they're going to be pretty upset about that. That he lied about something that is sacred to them, right? Yeah. Lying about going into Rheaden feels like it's probably a big no-no. So I'm really curious to see what happens with Couladin. He's so much more interesting to me now than he was in the book. Because I kind of was like, dude, like, shut up.
Yeah. Just stop, please.
And now that it's sort of like what we're talking about in our Riva discussion in our spoiler chat for Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm not going to spoil what's going on there, but in this, like, the character is so much more interesting to me now that they've made this choice and that there will be consequences for that choice, right? Characters living in the space between their choice and their consequences, and how they get from their choice to their consequences is a lot of my favorite storytelling.
Yeah.
Because it's tense, and there are stakes, and there are consequences coming, and the locomotive has left the station, and you feel like you're barreling towards whatever this conclusion is. And so Couladin is the most interesting he could possibly be to me right now, because I know that is coming, and I can't wait to read it as it happens.
For me, I actually think the person I am most interested in at the beginning of the next book is Aegianin. Because what the hell is she gonna do? Like, where is she going? Like, I mean, obviously her and Ship Captain are gonna, like, get down, but other than that, she is an infinitely fascinating character to me, because knowledge is power, and the knowledge that she's gained over the end of this book about her people, her culture, her beliefs, all of these things, is either going to, I think has the potential to break her in a sense.
100%.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be the direction that she is headed in the moments we've had with her, but you never know. Like, she's kind of like literally on like a knife's edge.
I would love if they ran into Rand and his Tavern-ness pushed them to get married really quick. I think that would be very funny.
Ship Captain and Aegianin.
Yeah. If, like, they run into, like, they get together and, like, Elaine and Rand have their big moment, and, like, Avienda and Elaine are like, oh, we're both with him now. It's going to be very, like, tensiony, and then it's like this tensiony moment between these women trying to figure out what they're going to do, and then, like, in the background they hear Ship Captain be like, let's just get married now, and it, like, stops everything because they're like, what is happening? And Moraine's like, Taviran, and Egwene's like, Taviran, and the wise ones are like, he who comes with the dawn. It's going to be great. It's going to be a cool moment.
I want to know what Elaine's second letter says.
The one where she's mean to him?
Yeah, I mean, we know it's definitely not, like, positive, but I'm really I am very curious as to the contents of that letter.
It's hard not to be, right? I mean, it's been built up in such an interesting way. It's been built up in such an interesting way with, there was, like, the thought that maybe Rand... I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but Rand seems to be taking the second letter more seriously than the first, I think.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, the honeyed words are not hitting as hard as the vinegar.
Well, we've always, like, as human beings, like, we remember the negative, we hang on to the negative. It outweighs the positive for most people. Like, it's just more poignant, and I think that that's exactly the case here. In chat, Wheel Up Time wants to know if we've heard the lesbian pirate Bail Doman theory.
No. But I also, based on the actor they cast, I don't think that he's going to be a lesbian.
Yeah, no, I truly
he's
don't.
He's very handsome, but
don't know what that theory is. And Jean-Paul wants to know if we ever agree with each other less than 100%.
Yeah, go watch our episode 3 Obi-Wan Kenobi spoiler chat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
We agreed. I think we maybe agreed 10% on that episode.
I would give it like 25%. We agreed.
Yeah. So before we get to the final big storyline I want to talk about before we get into these questions, Min and I was about to say Sanchin, Min and Swan and Leanne and Logain. What's gonna happen?
This whole Logain being like it and glory thing, I don't get, because when before Rand had his Moody, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess like Logain maybe teaches Rand to channel, which I wasn't 100% sold on, because I was like, how would Logain know how to channel? Like, who taught him? But whatever, fine. But now, like, that is definitely not the case, and I wonder if Swan, just by the nature of things, comes into like some kind of power position, and therefore so does Logain, because he's there with them and he is assisting. But I don't know what that is. I don't know. Do you have a theory?
Do you think it's possible for... I don't know if this works, right? Because Logain is cut off from the One Power. So I don't know if he can be connected through the One Power again. But do you think it's possible he becomes someone's warder?
Logain?
Yeah.
I guess it depends on if he's like a good swordsman. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Logain's such an interesting one, right? Because he led men into war. Like he took over Gildan, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there's so much potential that, and maybe I'm conflating what happened in the books and what happened in the show. He might have been less successful in the books than he was in the show. But you know, he did take over Gildan with an army. That's the kind of man who is probably going to be capable as a warder, right? And so it would be interesting for, I don't know whose, because there's no sisters with Swan and Leanne who can channel it, as far as we know, right, at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but it would be...
He can't be Swan or Leanne's warder, because they are both stilled. My question is, he's been gentled, and we know that the warders are like bound through the One Power. So could he even be a warder? Like, could he even be bound in that sense? I don't actually know.
I don't know either, and I would like for it to be something like that. You know what I mean? I think the other possibility is he becomes sort of like what's his name? Not Masume. Oh my God.
Who?
The guy who's the prophet of the dragon.
Oh,
Masima?
Masima.
Yeah. He could become something like that and become like the herald. I was about to say the herald of Galactus. I was about to turn Logain into the Silver Surfer. But the herald of the dragon would be like an interesting role for him. I kind of wonder if Logain is going to go on a very like a very. I think he's going to be huge. I think Logain is going to be a very important part of the rest of the series, and I think that it's going to be in a way that is going to be he's going to achieve glory on the light side. I don't think he's going to go dark. I have a feeling that we're in for like the redemption story of a lifetime with Logain, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I like truly did not expect Logain to be a major part of the series. To be honest, I thought he was going to be kind of an example, made an example of, and then swept aside. So yeah, I'm really curious as to where that goes, to be honest.
CJ says Logain the Baptist. I like it. I think that it would be fun if he had sort of a John the Baptist role in the series. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would be really interesting. I'm just excited. Logain is one of those characters who I had such a connection to because the actor on the show was so enticing to me.
Yeah.
Like his performance was so effective, I think. And so when we got into the books and we didn't even see him, right? Like I think the most we get of Logain is Rand seeing him from afar in that first book.
Yeah.
I already was so connected because I felt like he was so because the actor on the show made me love the character. And so I'm hopeful there's a lot for him to do because I think the actors looks perfect.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, I'm just excited. I think the potential storytelling around Logain and Swan being this power couple, not like literal couple, but like a power
Yeah.
couple of like this man and this woman who neither of whom can channel, but used to be able to, who like still managed to affect the global politics of Randland. I think that that's very exciting to me.
Yeah, it's true. Like there's no real like small characters, right? Like it's funny, even like that one farm girl who made Isaac Rand ended up like being at the White Tower. And
Elsa Grinwell.
yeah, and like the Illuminator that we met, she's obviously coming back. Um
Oh, yeah, I can't wait for more fireworks moments in this series for chat to be upset with me about misinterpreting.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. Do we
I feel
want
like we've,
hmm?
I feel like we've talked about all like the major players at this point, right?
Yeah,
Do you want to get into some questions?
that's what I was just gonna say, but there's a delay. Sorry, guys. Before we get into questions, smash that like button. Smash it so hard right now. And that's all I have to say.
I'm trying to figure out where this week's questions start, but please do smash the like button.
Oh yes, we have to figure out where they start. So I'm gonna have to open this one in my phone because I've got the computer set up because we're on the Discord call.
Assume it's May 14th, right?
Yep, that sounds about right.
So Matrick76, now mod on the channel. Matrick, thank you so much for joining the mod team.
Shout out to our mods. Please show the mods some love. We appreciate you guys, and we've missed you.
Huge shout out to our mods. All of you are awesome, and we really appreciate it. Matrick asks, since this book is the mold breaker for the series, how do you think future books will change as far as story character building go?
Okay. I'm giving this series one more Egwene capture, and that's it. Because I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen one more time. But
I think it's happened twice more.
You think it'll happen twice more?
Yeah, I think it's going to happen once more where she escapes and once more near the very end when she dies.
You think Egwene's gonna die?
I do, yeah.
Wow.
I think like beginning of book 14.
Okay. Well, add that to the predictions list. I do not think Egwene is going to die, but I do think that Egwene is going to be captured once more through the series and absolutely just annihilate her captors herself, just like John Cena, that shit. You know what I mean?
Cena, da 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 da.
Yeah.
I think in terms of future books, I think that. I think that I can't predict what they're going to do because I think that there's going to be a lot of variety from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
At least I hope so. I hope that they're going to do a lot of different things in terms of storytelling. I think that we're going to probably get books where we don't get POVs from some of the characters that we love right now. Mm. I think that some of these characters are going to disappear for some of these books and then come back. So I think that the series is going to have a little bit more ability to be mobile in terms of its style, if that makes sense.
Yeah. If we're doing predictions, I know you think Egwene is gonna die. If we're doing predictions, I think out of the main cast, I think it will be Nynaeve that dies.
I think more than that's gonna die. I would be surprised if more than half of the Emmons Fielders make it to the end of the series.
Oh God!
I have a feeling Matt dies. I think because Matt's arc is very much like I'm not a hero, I'm not a bloody hero, right? Yeah. I think that Matt's final moment, just for like narrative like structure, will be him embracing being a hero and sacrificing himself in that moment to do so. Yeah. And I think that
I could see him like pulling literally doing a repeat and pulling another Manetheren.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I think that Perrin will survive that. I think Perrin will be the like shepherd of the Manetheren Two Rivers area at the end of all this. If he's the king of it, if he's the lord of it, whatever. I don't know yet, but like I do think Perrin survives. I think Rand survives. And I don't know why. It makes sense for Rand to die in the final battle.
Yeah, I don't
But
know if I believe that Rand survives this. I'm still on the fence, to be honest.
I don't know. I think they might do the like Rand survives, but like has to like go be a hermit, like kind of story. Because he's like, it's just been too much.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Um,
Uh,
yeah, so I feel like we kind of like talked a lot about around that, but yeah, I definitely think future books are going to get more creative for sure with their like structure. Yes.
hmm
Hmm.
So Dashiva asks, Perrin chose not to tell Tam and the rest of the Two Rivers people that Rand is the Dragon Reborn. Do you agree with that decision?
Oh boy. Um. Oh, that's so tough, but kind of yes. Kind of yes. Because,
Ooh, can I interrupt for 1 second?
yeah, of course.
This is going to be a bold prediction, but Jason Enberg says his blood on Shia Ghul
Mm-hmm.
about the Rand. I don't. I think that that's going to be Rand's kid.
You think he's going to have. Okay.
I think the blood. Well, there's like 11 more books, right? So I think that Rand's child will be the one whose blood spills on Shia Ghul at the final battle.
Wow. Wowie,
You know what I
wowie.
mean? Like making it his blood is something that is so specifically like a cultural reference, and we pass our blood down.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's like kind of the only thing that we pass down, like culturally.
Yeah.
And that you find the idea of like being of someone's blood in so many different cultures that I think that it would make sense for his blood, the blood of the dragon reborn will be spilled at Shia Ghul at the final battle, to not be about Rand literally, but to be about the blood of Rand,
Okay,
which means
okay.
it will be his son or daughter.
I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna go one step further. I think it's going to be I could see it, and this is wow, this is so dark. I could see it being Aviendha pregnant and kind of and it's not a repetition but a mirror to his birth.
Mm, yeah.
It doesn't go well.
The Avienda pregnant, yeah, that would be very dark.
Would be very dark, but
that,
like I think that this
totally.
series it has like earned that level of tragedy, especially where the stakes of this world are like so strong. Yeah, I don't want that to happen, but I
Mhm.
could see those parallels being made for sure.
Yeah, I think that plays into like the wheel motif of the series really well in
Yeah.
a way that would wreck me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, well,
So
all
Perrin,
right.
go back to Perrin.
Yeah, yeah. Oh god, wait, what were we saying?
Did Perrin make
Oh,
the right choice not telling Tam and the Two Rivers people about the Dragon Reborn?
yes. Because what the hell is
Because
anyone
because 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 of the wonderful things he does.
well,
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
because there's nothing anyone can do about the situation, and I almost think it's meaner to tell Tam because then he'll just be even more worried than he already is. And like I don't know how that really helps anybody.
I think it's the right choice because the Two Rivers people don't understand the context of what it means. And so giving them that information does not benefit them in any way.
And it will just turn people against one another and against Rand, right? The Dragon Reborn is like a negative thing to your average Randlander, right?
Because they don't have context.
Exactly. Yeah.
Before we move on to the next question, You Don't Know Me is reminding Ellen that Rand is the God Emperor. Can we all just take a moment to appreciate that Christopher Walken is going to play the God Emperor in the next Dune movie? Like, I just love him so much. Anyway,
The
Wheel of
Rand.
Time fan edit asks, which scenes from this book do you most want to see in the TV show, and what adaptations do you think will be needed for story and budget reasons, changes or cuts for your chosen scenes?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, obviously, there's gonna be big cuts made. We've kind of talked a little bit about this, about consolidating
Hmm
Tyr and Falma.
hmm
Um, because I don't think the show has the budget to do both separately, nor the time. So I think that is going to be the big one, for sure.
Can I give you my big prediction for this book specifically?
Always.
I think the Golden Bowl is cut.
The Golden Bowl just sounds like a freaking sports game. I can't.
I think that all of the Alkair Dal stuff cut. I think that they go to Ruidin once, and everything happens at Ruidin instead of having the traversing of the desert, right?
Yes.
So I think that they'll take the portal stones into the Threefold Land.
Yeah.
They'll go to the Cold Stone Hold first. They'll meet the Aiel there.
I do want to see that. Yeah.
And then the traveling across the desert will just happen the one time from Cold Stone Hold to Ruidin. All of the Aiel will meet at Ruidin. He'll get his brands. He'll come out with his brands on, and then Asmodean will pop up and they'll fight there. And I think that they'll just condense that so there's fewer times and locations in the Threefold Land.
Yep, I think you're right, because having them, move around so much, I just don't think it's really feasible with the scope of everything, because we know they're condensing book. We know we're consolidating the books. So yeah, as long as we see Coldstone, I'm very happy with that.
Well, especially if it's like Cold Stone Creamery in New York, because their ice cream is very good.
We have Marble Slab here now.
Yeah.
Also very good. Now I want ice cream, and I'm upset with you for it. Yeah.
You have Uber Eats. You can have whatever you want. I'm not there to stop you. Not that I've ever stopped you from having ice cream. But.
Okay, so the one part of the question is, what do you most want to see in the TV show? Like, what is like a must for you?
I mean, obviously the Emmons Field scene, right? The Emmons Field battle has to be the number one.
Yeah.
It is the thing I am most excited about. It is the thing that it is the thing that I love so much about this book. I think it will be that chapter, I think, will be the thing that stays with me the most from the first 4 books, and maybe even from the series. Like I haven't read the rest of it yet. But so I need them to do that scene with aplomb and I just need it to be massive and incredible, and it's too important to me now. It is my favorite thing that has happened in these books so far. It is one of my favorite fantasy battle sequences that I've ever read.
Yeah.
And I just I need it, and I need it to be done right, and I need it to be done well.
Yeah, I agree. My big thing that I want to see is Cold Rock's Hold and
Cold Rock's Hold, that's what it was.
Yeah, and
that's so funny. You can tell I'm hungry, right?
Cold Stone, it's like Cold Stone Creamery or whatever.
My dinner's literally right here. I just can't eat it until we're done, because I don't want to be like scooping Vietnamese into my mouth.
What do you mean? I'm trying to think back to the other 2 books. Like, what is the most important? Hold Your Fire. Thank you for that super chat. Congrats on Ragtime.
Thank you so much, Hold Your Fire. At this point, I caught up to the book releases, so I'm jealous. Y'all don't have to wait as long to find out if you're right. We're grateful for that.
Yes, very.
Because what would you do with the podcast?
Exactly. Thank you for that super chat. Hold Your Fire. I'm trying to think of book 2 and 3. What absolutely has to make it into the show?
Not book 2 and 3, just book 4. What has to be in there from book 4?
From book 4, yeah. No, Cold Rock's Hold for sure. And
Rand kissing all the women down the line.
Yes, I want to see Rand kiss all the Spear Maidens, please. Thank you. Every single one.
Mr. the Unnameable says they have to nail the visions at Ruidian.
Oh, like the visuals? Or...
What was that, chapter 27?
Yeah.
I can't remember what chapter it was, but yeah, that chapter has to be... Honestly, that's a make or break for the show, I think.
Yes.
I think that, because I think there's a section of the fandom that's already off the show that aren't interested in season 2. Mm-hmm. But I think that if they mess that up, I think that will be a line for a lot of people.
Yep. No, I agree. That'll be definitely a tipping point, right? I think that some people who are book lovers who maybe fell off the show, people will be like, okay, but you gotta see what they did with this. Or it's going to be like, that was awful.
Yeah.
And I really hope that it's good. Like, I really, really do. There's a lot about the show that I do like. And I think that they know. I think that they're on Twitter enough to know what they need to get right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Someone asked, do you think that book 4 will be all of season 3? Honestly, y'all, I'm gonna be straight up. I don't know how the show possibly pulls this off. Because they said that they're aiming for 7 seasons.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't see how that's possible.
I have absolutely no idea how that's gonna happen.
I could turn this book into 3 seasons of television easily.
This book, yes.
Because I would give the Aiel past 2 full episodes, right? Like maybe two seasons, and have the final 2 episodes of season 1 of book 4 being just the Ruidian sequence, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's so important. It's like literally so important to understand that.
Absolutely. All right. Next question. Leah825 asks, of all the cultures shown so far, which is your least favorite? And what would you have done to redeem, in your opinion? Do you expect to have another culture introduced that would be worse than your current least favorite? It's hard to have a least favorite, I think, because it's like, are they my least favorite because they're not well written? Because all of them are well written. But I definitely think I'd want to be part of the Sanshin culture the least.
Oh, I would say it's kind of done now, right? But the Kyrian Deus Damar stuff.
Oh.
That's my least favorite culture. And it's the one I would want to live in the least. Like the backstabby, the like high school backstabby crap, I'm just not interested.
No, God, yeah, I hate that.
I like people who put a little bit more on Front Street. And so I'm just, I'm not interested in them.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm glad there was a civil war, but, I'm not unhappy about it.
Tom gets it done, you know what I mean?
Galleon Prime asks, of the characters you have met, and remember, which do you think will have a large change or growth, or rather, which characters you think might change as the series progresses, so you can look back and go, wow, did not expect that?
It's tough.
A lot of
I can predict some that I think will happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ones where I'm like, wow, I didn't predict that I'm really not sure.
I think Min for me right now is one where she's one where I have no idea where she's headed, right? And so I'm really curious to like see where Min goes emotionally throughout this series.
Yes, I think that's totally fair. She is kind of like, she could go in kind of any direction right now.
Yeah.
Whereas, with someone like Nynaeve, I think for her to progress as a character, she has to grow in a certain way and realize that she's being exactly like Moraine and come to terms with that and be a little smarter when it comes to planning and revealing and that kind of thing, right? Like, I feel like Nynaeve has a very important and interesting trajectory, but not really like a surprise one. Same with Rand, like we know Rand is gonna go mad. I think honestly where Matt ends up going could be very interesting. Just with the whole luck gambling thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Dakuna, I agree with Dakuna. Let's have a strategy where the bots only attack when they're trying to hide spoilers.
Yeah. They heard about our Smut Corner.
Yeah. So Blonde Lanfear asks, who is your least favorite character in this book, and why is it Gawain?
Brother Tarwin's Gaptooth. Thank you for that super
Thank you so much. Brother Tarwin's Gaptooth is so funny. That's very funny. I love the show, but I went into it with the 1,000% understanding that there was a 0% chance of coming close to matching Jordan's prose and our imaginations. It's just a nice add-on. I don't disagree with that. I just think I think it's a wonderful add-on. I love a lot of the acting. I just think that in terms of this series, why go into it starting off by saying that you're going to limit yourself?
I mean, for me, I just I'm just happier watching it and thinking this is someone's interpretation and vision of what these books are. It's not the be all and end all. And it never could be, right? Like any movie that has ever come out, it's like there's always some fans that are upset because it's not how they saw it in their heads, right? You cannot please everybody. And I'm just, I'm happy that this is an addition to the, like, Wheel of Time collection, I guess. And it's not the same. And, like, honestly, it'll be fun that there's going to be surprises, you know, that they're going to change things and we're like, oh, okay, cool. Hopefully, you know, they're well done. That's all that I can ask, is that hopefully it's well done.
So who's your least favorite character, coming off of that very nice thing to say?
Oh, I'm so upset because you guys know I really liked Gawain.
Prior to his fall from grace?
He just made the wrong choice.
But the right choice based on the knowledge that he had, right? What makes him complicated.
And that's why it's complicated, and that's why this writing is so freaking good. You know what I mean? Least favorite. Do you have one?
I don't have like least favorites. I have people I don't like. I will say that Isam, Lord Luke Slayer stuff could have been a little bit clearer. Now that I've gone back and read the prophecies on the walls, and I think that Isam, Lord Luke are the same person, and they're all Lan's uncle. I just feel like how that was handled in the end of the book could have been clearer, so that you didn't have to like rely on remembering something that was scrawled on a wall in a scene like 3 books ago in order to understand it. So, but at the same time, I really liked Lord Luke and all of that stuff. So, but it's more just that like how that character fits into all of this is a little overly complicated. It feels like it was written to be more complicated than it need to be for the moment.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, like, I'm just gonna agree with you that it's got to be Gawain, and you know, and part of that is because it is because of the fall, right? It is because he started somewhere. Like, to me, when I first read Gawain, and I feel like this is gonna sound so silly, because I know a lot of you don't like Gawain. I kind of saw like a little bit of my personality in Gawain, being a good listener and letting other people, you know, take the reins, because that's okay, you know, like, no, I mean, like, Gawain is always there supporting Elaine no matter what. He's always got Elaine's back, and they're great together, and they have fun, and they do things, but, like, Gawain is not always the forefront of it, and maybe not always the instigator of it, but it is there, and, like, means well in so many ways. And, you know, and he's crushing on Egwene, but he's like, you know what? My brother likes her, and, like, I respect that relationship with him, and so I'm just gonna, like, do what I'm gonna do. And there were just things in Gawain that I saw that just, like, you know, I don't know, spoke to me, I guess. So that's my little defense of him, and I am so sad what happened and the decisions that he's made. I'm worried to see where that goes in the next book.
I don't think we're going to enjoy that much. Lona Boy, we already answered half of your question here. What are your current predictions for the False Dragons, Tame, and Logain? We already talked about Logain, but what do you think is going to happen with Tame?
What do I think is going to happen with
Tame, the other false dragon who went missing?
The one that escaped, right? Was, like, captured and escaped?
Do you have any predictions there?
Oh, I think that he has been captured by the Black Aja, and that they've done the Madral thing, puppeteer master, and they're going to be controlling him.
Ooh, I did not think that. I didn't think they would need to.
But it's safer.
I think he willingly goes to their side.
Okay. I think that Leandrin doesn't really take chances. You know, like, Leandrin hates men, so I feel like she would have just, like, been like, no, it doesn't matter.
I don't think Leandrin took him, because we know Leandrin was in Tenchiko.
Yeah, but it's under her orders, right?
Yeah. Here's my thing with Tame. I think that he's going to be a mini boss that Rand has to fight.
A mini boss? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that Rand is going to kill him, and he's going to cradle him lovingly in his arms as he kills him. And I think it's going to be one of those ones where he has gone mad with the power, and I think that it's much like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul. You know what I mean? He's going to kill him and cradle him and just be like, "I'm so sorry for this. Like,
wow,
you deserved something else." Sorry, that's an old spoiler at this point.
I didn't know.
But like, it's that relationship thing of like, I'm so sorry that this is where this ended. Your life led you to this point, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I think that he is going to have to take him out, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be a gut punch when he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think he's gonna take him out, but I think that I don't know. I think he's going to be being controlled because it's something that we've heard about, but we've never like seen and experienced in a character. So I feel like he's a good kind of example for that.
So Claude Complex asks, what do you think is next for various character groupings? Actually, that's how we started the show. Sorry, Claude Complex, we already got to that. P-Head asks, what do you think each of the chapter icons represents, and how do they foreshadow what is to come in the chapter? Do you pay attention to the chapter headings at all?
No. I've never once looked at them.
Some of them are really obvious, right? Like a lot of the ones around the Two Rivers had like wolves or Trollocs in them.
Definitely a horn of a Trolloc.
I think that's the Dragon's Fang.
The Dragon's Fang?
Isn't it?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that one's like the Dragon's Fang. Horn. So it's usually related to where they are.
There it is again.
Yeah, so like, you know, it's kind of like another introduction of who the POV character for the chapter is.
Yeah.
Wow, this Naked HD that keeps getting banned and coming back.
Damn. That's how you know they're committed, you know?
Yeah. Ship Captain Haddock says, how would you like to see the magic system expanded upon in the next books? Are there any part of it that are not working for you?
Well, I would... The problem is I don't think that this has an answer. But this, like, determination of power, I would love a little more info on. Like, Nynaeve is the strongest. How? Why? How do you know that? What is the measurement? She's just the strongest when she's mad. I'm like, okay. And I feel like I feel a little spoiled because I love the magic system in Aragon. And it's, you know, definitely not like super precise, but logically it makes sense, and I can at least have like a grasp on it. Whereas this, I'm like, I don't I don't know.
Can you talk for a second? The stage manager of my show is calling me.
Yeah, of course. Okie dokie. All right, well, I'm gonna take over then. Let me pull up, I guess, the next question just while Nerdy's figuring that out. Yeah, that's the magic system for me. I would love a little bit more. They measure power in kilowatts. See, the midichlorians, great. That would be nice, you know, if we could be like, yes, I'm going to measure this for you. Next question is, Shiva, are there any secondary POVs you would have liked to see in this book, either from a new or established character, and in which section scene? I would love a POV of one of the wise womens, particularly Amis. I would love a wise woman POV, honestly. You take charge. Thanks, I got this. How did you enjoy your grapes? Oh my god. Are you gonna not let that... Alright, while Nerdy is taking care of that. Y'all, I ordered grocery delivery for the first time ever from Instacart, and I accidentally ordered 5 bags of grapes. Like bags like this big. So they're tasty, but I'm gonna have to freeze most of them because I was tired last night when I was ordering them and I didn't understand how it worked. Anyways, thank you, Ellen.
You're gonna kill me.
Why?
We could have done this tomorrow morning. I'm not called till 1:45 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Y'all, the theater industry.
They were calling because our when our lunch break is, they're like, can we, because you're not going to be there in the morning, would you rather have your fitting before the lunch break or just have it during the lunch break and show up later? And I was like, just put it during because I won't be there in the morning, so I don't need a lunch break, whatever, it doesn't matter. What question are we on?
Oh my gosh. So
don't you love how this podcast always stops for something?
Guys,
like every podcast.
This is the life that we live.
It wasn't Amazon this time.
This is how we live our lives. I'm so sorry. Slick Jack, that is okay that you joined late. No worries. Nerdy is playing younger brother in Ragtime, and it is going to be in Calgary. So if you are in Calgary, feel free to go see the show. That would be very cool. Deshiva wants to know, are there any secondary POVs you would have liked to see in this book, either from a new or established character and in mid-section scene? I said I would love to have a wise woman POV, particularly Amis.
Yeah.
So I'd love to know what you think as well.
Ruark would be a really fun POV. I think Asmodean would be a really fun POV to watch Rand learn how to channel, not from Rand's perspective.
Like in future books?
Yeah, in the next book. I would actually love some Forsaken POVs. You know what I mean? Like I would love a Lanfear POV. you know? Yeah. So I would love a POV of the wheel.
The wheel?
Yeah, and it's just an entire chapter of like, I'm spinning. I'm still spinning. I weave as I will, and I'm spinning.
Should we write some Wheel of Time fan fiction from the point of view of the wheel? Oh god.
We'll call it what it's like to spin. The wheel story in the Wheel of Time. The wheel story. Oh my god. Oluad says Avienda POV. Avienda POV would be good too. I think, but I'm not worried about getting Avienda POV.
Yeah. I think that is coming, that we are definitely going to see that for sure. I am not worried at all.
Pandoria asks, which characters do you think the show will cut out or kill off? Are there any storylines we've read so far that you think they will leave out of the show?
That we think the show will cut out or kill off? As far as like people, it's really tough to determine that at this point in the reading, because I'm not 100% sure how people's storylines affect past the point that we are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think the characters who I think you can cut out are smaller characters. Like, I think that, there's like characters within the Aiel culture that like we don't need all of them, right? Because for the show it'll be redundant. I think mostly just small characters. I think that they'll like mix characters together.
There's been 147 POV chapters.
What's crazy honestly about the show is that we haven't met Morghese and the entire Camelin royal family yet.
Yeah. Do you think that they're going to... I mean, Elaine has been cast, but I don't think Morghese has.
I could see them meeting them at the White Tower instead of meeting them in Camelin. So I could see like the Tarvalon people coming to Camelin and the royal family of Camelin all meeting at the White Tower at the same time, rather than having the groups separate.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, as far as characters being completely cut out, I don't know. I think that Aegeanin will encompass several of the Sanshin.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not so many. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you think they'll make Aegeanin the one that holds Egwene's leash? Just to drive those characters more into conflict?
Potentially, but then that would mean that Aegeanin can channel for sure, and I don't know if she can yet in the books, and so that.
But that doesn't mean that, right? Because the leash holders don't have to be able to channel; they have to be people who can learn.
But that's what I mean.
Because she can, but in the show, but no, if they're condensing it, then having her hold the leash earlier just moves that forward, right? Especially if they're going to cut Falma, or if they're going to cut some of this down, you need to have her have the moment where she realizes that holding the leash means that she might be a channeler as well.
See,
so I think it's entirely possible that that's what happens.
I'm gonna fight back hard against that. I do not think that's possible with the like potential redemption arc that Aegeanin is having. Like, for the audience, it would be incredibly difficult to give us Aegeanin as the person who literally like enslaved Egwene and then have some kind of redemption from that, especially with like Egwene being a person of color, and I don't know, like I don't think that she could be redeemed, because I think she will be. That is my hope for her moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think that is what the show would do, and I don't think that that's a good choice for them to make either. Her being the one who like personally does it completely.
I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Matterk asks, how hard do you think the show will lean into Aiel poly relationships?
I think it's gonna lean hard. I mean, we are obviously like, guys, come on, they all fuck, right? And I know not everybody in our audience.
Oh wow, just dropping F-bombs. Okay, I didn't know what kind of podcast we were making.
Yes, you did. We have Smut Corner. Yes, I think the show is definitely trying to be progressive and inclusive, and I think that like having like poly relationships in a good light and in like in a normalizing light is actually a really good thing. You know, having poly relationships in like mainstream media, I think is important. Because
I just think with Rand, with the Rand and his three ladies thing, it's going to be so important. The books aren't going to avoid it. It's going to be front and center.
No,
Jude, thank you for that super chat. Love the show. Did y'all figure out who Lanfear was over the break, and was she the winningest character in the Shadow Rising? That is a really interesting question. Is Lanfear the winningest character thus far in terms of her goals?
It seems like it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Even if that's only a front that she is putting up, it does seem like it, right? Because right now her Forsaken competition is being eliminated in a way that only benefits her. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Asmodean now out of the game, helping Ran, but oh god, and now I can't even remember their names. But the one who got stabbed, yeah, no, I think right now, Lanfear is winning.
Yeah.
100%.
Sean on TV asks, since Tarvalon is played up much more in the show, how do you see them approaching the fall and Min's place in it?
Is played up much more.
Like the White Tower it has a much bigger footprint on season 1 of the show than I think it ever does in the book, right? Like the culture of it, how many people are, we see a lot more of the White Tower, I think, in the first season of the show than, well, but like, because you don't see it at all in the first book, right? So I think that as we are getting more of the White Tower than I think the books do, I honestly think the fall of the White Tower could be the opening of season 3 of the show.
Opening of season 3? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Or a finale. Yeah, it's oh man.
It's tough because the finale of season, look, if like, and this is the problem with this show, is going to be like the finale of this season, if this book is one season, is the Battle of Emond's Field, the sneaking into the palace, and Rand fighting Asmodean in Ruidian, and the White Tower falls. That's like the 4 finales of 4 different seasons of television that all happen at the same time.
Yeah.
And from a cost perspective, that's insane. In a season that also has to do the entire history of the Aiel episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's nuts.
Yeah, maybe that's the finale of season 3.
They should honestly make this a movie that takes place between seasons. And so you get like a $200 million budget movie that tells these stories. Because it's the only way I think you could do it right.
Yeah, that's tough, honestly. I'm really not sure.
I do think the fall of the White Tower is very exciting, though. I can't wait for it.
Yes, and more Min. I always want more Min.
I hope she gets to be with our other characters soon.
I agree.
I want to see her and Rand's dynamic more.
She's very separate. And I would love, honestly, if Min... I don't think it's going to happen, though. But I would love for Min and Swan and Logain to all go to Rand right now. Like, that dynamic. With Moraine there, with Swan, and then Rand and Logain. Like, I would love those two groups to meet up. But I don't know if that's what will happen.
Absolutely. Blair asks, do you think we'll see that fall in season 2 or will they wait? I don't think the White Tower will fall in season 2. I think that'll be... There's already so much that they have to do in season 2. I don't think they'll add stuff from book 4. I don't think we'll get any book 4 stuff in season 2.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
Since we only got Matt's POV in the book, what questions answers do you think Rand and Moiraine got when they went through the doorway in Tyr?
I have been trying to figure this out. And, like, I don't know. I wish I had something, like, smart to say about this, because I am not sure.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right?
Well, because they could have asked anything. Like, first of all, you have to decide what they've asked, and then you have to figure out what you think the answers were. And I
think that we will have to read all of the books and then try and figure this out. I don't think, based on the information we have, I don't think they ask questions solely about what happened in the rest of this book, right?
Yeah.
I forgot that was in this book, to be completely honest. In my brain, I was like, oh, that's book 3 stuff. Nope, that's book 4.
Right. Yeah.
Cole Sanders asks, it's Colonel Sanders. After 4 books, which country or people, including the Sea Folk, Aiel, Sanchin, as well as land peoples, has the most interesting culture history that you would like to learn more about?
The Sea Folk.
Mm-hmm.
The Sea Folk, for sure.
I agree. Easy one. I want to know so much more about them.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very intriguing. The power dynamics that we get to see kind of from other people's perspectives are very cool. How they've gone about hiding their channelers from the Aes Sedai, and like what that means to them and how they conduct trade. Like, I just definitely the Sea Folk, for sure.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. 100%.
Yeah.
But their other question was, who is your most interesting hero and most interesting villain?
Most interesting.
I think for me, like the most interesting hero right now is Perrin, just because of like what he's inspiring in other people around him.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying that. For villain, for me, it has to be Lanfear, because she literally is like, I'm gonna give you a lackey. I'm gonna like force this lackey to teach you. Like, it's so fascinating, and she's crazy, wonderful, and I love her.
Yeah, I guess it depends on if you consider Aegeanin a villain, because she's kind of not a hero, but not a villain, but she's the one.
I would say she's a hero.
Huh?
I would say at this point she's one of our heroes.
Okay, then as far as villains... Gawain?
Fair. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, Gawain. I think at this point he is kind of a villain. It's great. But yeah.
All right. Skeptical Mario asks, based on the end of The Shadow Rising, how many books would you think the series was going to be?
Damien, thank you for that super duper chat.
New Zealand. We want to come to New Zealand so bad.
Yeah, it's actually a big dream of ours, actually, to visit New Zealand. That's so cool.
But thank you so much for finally catching it live.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you're enjoying the show. Thank you. That means a lot.
We're really happy to have you here. Thanks for coming on this journey with us.
Yeah.
how many books? Okay, if I didn't know how many there were and I read this book, I would say 8 books.
Oh, you'd think that this is the halfway point.
Yeah.
I would have said 7. I would say 3 more.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely would not have guessed 14.
I literally have no idea how this gets to 14 books.
No, me neither. Yeah. Yeah.
Claude Complex asks, you've mentioned that the main characters feel too safe and it's diminishing the stakes of battle. Who would you kill off?
Spicy.
If you had to kill someone to raise the stakes of the books, who would you kill?
The problem is it needs to be someone who has had like at least some kind of an arc. Like I would be so sad to see a character go before they really like came into their own.
I feel like my reign is almost boring. Like I feel the like dead mentor
trope.
It's just like yeah, you know, if she Gandalfs it or Dumbledore's it, you know, all the like older wizard characters who die.
Yeah, I think Morgase is gonna die.
Oh, Morgase will, but she's not really a main character. She's only been on screen in the books like once, right?
Fair. Okay, yeah, fair.
No, you have to choose a main character.
A main. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. If I had to choose,
I feel like Elaine maybe. Like killing off one of Rand's potential love interests raises the stakes for the series. I wouldn't want to do that, obviously, but I think in terms of if the goal was to raise the stakes of the series, I feel like Elaine makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it could motivate Morgase to like give up Lord Gabriel. Like you could use Elaine as a plot device. I don't want to say that about a woman because that's not. I don't want any character to ever be a plot device. But if like I had to kill off a main character, I feel like Elaine has the most potential to affect the most number of other characters with her death in a way that motivates the plot forward.
Well, and politically as well. Like it would just change so many things. So yeah, that makes total sense actually. I don't want it and I don't think it's gonna happen, but yeah.
Deshiva says, madness check. How is our boy Rand doing? He seems fine.
Rand seems like all right, honestly. I think that
he seemed more mad a couple books ago.
Yes. And I think he was just having like some bad mental health days with everything going on. You know what I mean? Like he was just in a rough place as opposed to actually like going mad. I think we'll start to see a bit of madness by the end of the next book. Like in the last like third, potentially. I start. Because here's the thing, it needs to be like a slow... It needs to be a slow burn.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna start seeing that, the last bit of this book. You can't kill Bella. Bella is the creator. Bella can't die.
Norandin asks, can you rank your favorite Sanchin and Children of the Light? No. Blue asks, now that you're 4 books in, how do you feel about Tavern and its implementation in the story?
I mean, look, the whole Tavern-ness is really interesting, right? Because we've talked about how it's very convenient, but in a way that also makes sense. Like, I'm not, like, mad about its convenience, right?
I want to bring up something really quick. I'm not old, I'm vintage. Says, this will get me hate, but I think the show is too woke to kill a woman just to raise the stakes.
They did.
Did you see the pilot of the show?
Did you watch episode 1?
Did you watch the, 7th thing to happen in the series?
Yeah. No, Loyal cannot die. How dare you?
Yeah.
Loyal is
I'm not hating. I don't think the show's... I don't think wokeness is an issue, but they literally kill off a woman to raise Perrin's stakes in the show. Like, that's like the...
Yeah.
It's the only thing they did to Perrin in the show.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the whole Tavern-ness, I would love to see more negative impacts of it. Because right now it's just kind of chaotic, right? And there's good things that happen, but there's also like bad things that happen. And like, I thought that maybe they, you know how they explained like the bubbles from the taint or whatever, the dark one or whatever.
The miasmas, the taints farts.
Yes. I honestly would have preferred if that was like, no, like the Tavern-ness is just, it is shaking the pattern so much that things happen. I wish it was kind of just part of that. But I'm like, eh. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Boley asks, now that Perrin has had time to shine, what do you think he'll get up to in the next book? And what do you see Aram's role in the future to be? I think Perrin's about to go to war with Morghese.
Yeah.
I think that's it, right? Like,
you think so?
Yeah, she's gonna come down hard on the two fielders, two Rivers people. She's gonna come in guns blazing, and he's gonna fight back. Because if she came in and asked what was going on, they could talk it out. But I don't think she's going to. I think Lord Gabriel, Samael, right? I think that he's gonna be whispering in her ear with whatever his like Forsaken powers are, and I think that Two Rivers is in for it when he convinces Morghese to come down on Perrin and them, and so I think Perrin's gonna have to go to war to defend himself, and so I don't think it's gonna be a sensible conversation. I think that the Forsaken is going to drive these people into each other in a really violent way.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure if I'm on the same page regarding that, but I could see it happening.
If there wasn't a Forsaken with Morghese, I wouldn't think that, right?
Right.
But
no,
knowing
Morghese
that there's a
not.
Forsaken that's influencing her decisions, I could see it happening.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think Morghese is in her right mind.
What about Aram?
Aram is gonna be a major character from here till, I think he'll last a couple books. I think Aram is gonna die.
I think he's gonna become a Heron Blade Master.
Okay.
I think they're going to take him wanting to be a swordsman to the extreme of him becoming a Heron Blade Master, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I still think he's going to die.
Rock Mage asks, leaf or axe?
It depends. If I was in this world, I mean, axe. There's no way I could I'd live, right? But, you know, living in Canada, I'm very blessed that I don't have to. I never use violence. So that, yeah, I don't know.
No, I agree. In the real world, it's leaf, but in the Wheel of Time, it's axe. If I was living 500 years ago, axe. You're not coming for my family.
Yeah.
Although I say leaf until I'm attacked one time, I'm gonna defend myself. I'm not going to be out there. I'm not going to start anything. I'm an axe man. I let's be honest. If you attack me, I will fight back. I know that. I got beat up a lot in middle school, and I fight back.
Yeah.
I won't put up with it. If you come at me, I will defend myself. But I am not going to start anything, and if I can talk myself out of a situation, I will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Lona,
but I'm not like, yeah.
Lona Boy, thank you for that super chat. The Shire is saved. Is this the end of the Lord of the Rings homage? Will the Fremen win an empire for their chosen one? Yes.
Lona Boy, I love that. But yes, all those things are true.
Yes.
Turbok, wow. Thank you so much.
Turbok! Oh my god,
ran out of data watching the Dumpster Fire Oilers game. Look forward to the next book. Me as well, Turbok, but thank you so much. That is incredibly kind of you. I'm so sorry. The Oilers are going the way of the Maple Leaf right now.
Turbok, thank you so much for that super duper chat.
Wow. Okay. Wheel of Time asked, did one of these last ones sort again? Bed, Bond, Balefire, Magidian, Lanfear, Asmodean.
Magidian, Lanfear, Asmodean.
I'm killing Asmodean.
Same.
I'm marrying Lanfear, and I'm bedding Mogideon. Because Asmodean is like Asmodean's whole like sub energy just isn't interesting to me. Mogideon is too like sneaky for me to want to marry her.
Well,
Because
that's a problem.
no, but let me finish, and then I'll turn it over to you. But Mogideon is like all behind your back. Lanfear will walk up to you and tell you what's up, and so I appreciate that about her. And so that kind of honesty, she like Lanfear regularly shows up to Rand and is like, "This is what is going on," and so that's the one I would want to marry.
Yeah, but she also definitely doesn't tell the whole truths.
At least it's some of the truth, okay? That's more than you give me.
Yeah, okay. You know what? We weren't given... these are not my favorite options, so we did what we could.
Well, it wouldn't be fun if they were your favorite options.
No. I know. But, like... Honestly, though, like... Maybe marrying Asmodean would be, like, fine, because, like... You just be in charge all the time. I don't know. He doesn't really... Wouldn't have to, like, worry about him.
Not commenting on that at all.
Next.
What do you guys think will come of Couladin in the Shido? I think Rand is going to turn them to his side. I think he's going to politic them together. Or Couladin will go through Ruidian, become the clan chief, and in scene that Rand was telling the truth about the past of the Aiel, he will have a change of heart. Because Ruidian will break him.
I think Rand is going to have to prove himself in combat to be able to lead the Aiel. There's such a combat heavy...
That's too much like Dune.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, I'm just like, I know it's kind of the obvious choice, but it's, I think, the one that makes sense with the culture. Honestly, I don't think he's going to end up fighting Couladin. I think he's going to end up fighting Sivana.
But she's not a maiden of the spear.
No, but they're still all, like, they still all train to fight as soon as they can walk.
I don't think that Rand killing a roof mistress would endear him to the Aiel at all. I think that would be the worst thing he could do.
No, but if she like challenges him.
I think he would literally have to fight every member of the Shido before they would let him fight their roof mistress.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine a world in which the Shido allow their roof mistress to fight. That doesn't seem culturally like what the Aiel are about.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Joey Fisher, thank you for that super chat. Where do y'all think Perrin in relation to the White Cloaks goes from here?
I am hoping that some of the White Cloaks realized how unhinged their leader is and that their numbers diminish.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, it, like, you know... the White Cloaks were, like, they were embarrassed by Perrin because they did nothing, right? I think that is going to not sit right with some of them. You know, hopefully they're not all bad people. So.
I think we're gonna see a White Cloak character become the, like, investigator of the corruption within the White Cloaks. I think we're gonna meet a, like, White Cloak who becomes the, like, person trying to root out the corruption within the organization. And maybe I'm just saying that because that's what I would want to see, because I think it would be interesting, but I think it would be fun to have someone kind of realize that there's something going on, and like, you know, like Carson Teva in The Mandalorian, just show up and be like, something's going on here and I need to pay attention to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Robert Jordan. There's going to be some kind of twist in this that I'm not expecting, but yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to find out.
A lot of commentary from Idversigo asked this. A lot of commentary from Rafe and Brandon have been that they definitely tried to hit the feel of Book 4 in the first season. Do you think they did that?
The feel of Book 4.
I think a little bit in, like, how the White Tower is represented. The Logain stuff. I think that there's some of that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I say, I don't want to be like, yes, absolutely, 100%. But, like, yeah, kind of. Yeah. All right.
Lona Boy asks, what do you think Avi saw in her apprentice test in Ruidian? Amis told her, you will see your future laid before you again and again in variation.
Well, I think the reason that Avienda is so just mad at Rand all the time when she comes back is because she sees him in her future, and she can't help that. Like that, I think that is like a like permanent like fixed thing, right? Especially with him being Tavern.
I think that I do though think that she sees versions of the future where he goes mad. I think that she sees futures where she loves him. Every version she loves him. But some of them he goes mad, some of them he goes evil. Like, I think that she sees so many different versions of their future together, and she cannot be sure that she is living through one where he does not break everything and make everything worse, right?
Yeah, for sure. That one's kind of tough, right? Because I want Avienda's future to be more and mean more than just like being a part of Rand's future. If that makes sense. And yet I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't know what she would have seen about her future.
Yeah, it's tough.
Right? Like, she is kind of, the way her character has been written, she is very much beholden to him in so many senses, with her training and with her like affections and with how like Rand has been handling the whole thing, unknowingly courting her, especially with the other maidens, right? I'm struggling here because I want to come up with something that has nothing to do with Rand, but
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know.
Joshy Joss asked, allowing myself to overgeneralize a little bit, books 1 and 2 were sort of Rand's books, book 3 was Egwene's book, and book 4 was Perrin's book. Who do you think will primarily get a more focused character development and spotlight on them in book 5? Who do you want it to be? I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I feel like all of those characters had pretty consistent growth over all of those books, but
in a kind of like general sense, I understand where that comes from. I think next book will be, I think Elaine will have a large role in it because because they are going to have to deal with the threat of I
agree. I think that Elaine will be, I think the next book will be Elaine's book.
Yeah. I agree. Desi, thank you for that super chat. What style of small clothes does your favorite character wear?
Perrin is a thong man.
A thong man?
Yeah, Perrin is definitely a thong man. Because, he likes to wear the apron and a thong, and that's it.
Yeah.
He's double cheeked out in the forge.
Min is in like boxers.
Oh yeah, and not like boxer briefs.
No,
the boxers that like all boys wear in middle school because they think they're cool, and then they realize they're just awful as they get older.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Joey Fisher, thank you for that super chat as well. Any follow-up thoughts, updates on what Matt got the second time through the doorway? He was destined to die and live again. Has this happened?
He definitely has a lot of other people's memories. I think he has a lot of past life memories.
Yeah. I mean, he did.
I wish I could go through a door and learn a language. That's cool.
That seems like a really fun skill. For sure.
Right?
Yeah, he did die and was revived. Whether or not that's the dying and living again, I think that's kind of echoed in that moment, and also him getting all the memories back from his past lives, dying and living again. So yeah, I think that's going to be kind of like his theme. He's going to like fall into.
He's just going to keep dying.
Yeah, he's going to fall into patterns of his previous lives, I think.
Do you think that Matt is like the Puss in Boots of the series and dies 8 times?
No.
So, if I could rewind, asks, oh no. Never mind. Apparently Dakun already asked that. Sharon Scout asks, now that you've seen several different cultures with varying attitudes towards channelers and their place in society, who do you think has the most sensible approach?
I'm sorry, I was reading a question. Can you say that again?
Now that we've seen how several different cultures handle channelers, who do you think has the most sensible approach?
The most sensible?
I would say the sea folk, right?
It's tough because we don't know enough about the sea folk, I don't think.
I mean, the sea folk just seem to have them be a part of their culture.
Yeah.
It sounds like they like culturally respect them, but they don't like put too many limits on them or try and control them too much.
Yeah, like in this moment, I would say the sea folk. But we might learn some stuff that might make me change that answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. So then Leon Crescent asks, what are your favorite funny moments from book 4? Theirs is in chapter 34 when Rand refused to take food after coming from Ruidian and wants to go back there to look for Moraine. Mullane exploded and threw a loaf of bread at his head, and Matt catches the bread in the air and calmly eats it. Hope you'll consider this one. It's not popular, but it's very memorable for rereads. No, I do appreciate Matt just eating the bread, because that's something I would do. Also, there's a place in the South where it's Lambert's, I think, home of the Throne Rolls, where the waiters literally throw bread at you. You just go like roll, and like someone will literally throw a roll across the restaurant to you if you want one. Sports. Yeah, exactly like that.
Todd, thank you for that super chat. Matt got an old tongue skill. Means he can blow horn and find North Harbor. Matt is multi-talented, for sure.
My favorite funny moments from the Wheel of Time are all on this podcast, coming up with jokes with my wife and y'all.
Aww.
Oh, so we have some people in chat who have been to Lambert's. Lambert's is great. If you ever get the chance to go, the food is awesome. The rolls are delicious. I can't wait to take Claris one day.
I'm not good at like catching, so I feel like that could be a disaster. But sure.
I feel like you've gotten better since you and I got married because I throw stuff at you all the time.
I guess. I don't know how I feel about that, but I guess so.
What are your favorite funny moments?
My favorite funny moments. I loved Elaine and Egwene and Nynaeve meeting Aiel for the first time and trying to communicate about things that each party thought was like perfectly normal, and the other one is like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, my second sister. What? Like,
oh, my favorite is when they get to Cold Rock's mm-hmm. and they find out that Amis, Ruark, and I'm blanking on our name, that they're like actually all three married, and the boys are like, oh, we just thought you were like translating wrong. And they're just like, and they look at each other and they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. It's three people in a thing. That's a 2-person thing, and there's 3 of them. I think that's very fun.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of my favorite humor in the books has centered around the Aiel and the like cultural differences. Joy Fisher, thank you for that super chat. We know how Randland treats male channelers. How do you think other cultures treat them? This is answered in the books.
They kill them.
Yeah.
Pretty consistently, they all kill them, right? I don't think there's any that keep them alive.
No, yeah.
Oh, Wheel of Time brings the insult to Couladin, calling him a beggar by the roof mistress. That one hit hard. That was good.
Honestly, like all of the Aiel stuff, I find very comedic.
Bane and Chad laughing at Perrin and Fael.
Yeah, the maiden's kiss.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Rand kissing all the girls and getting drunk and then putting him to bed in front of Avienda, and she has to watch them put him to bed. It's weird, but it's also kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's definitely the Aiel stuff for me, for sure.
Chess Club President asks, we've seen the Forsaken and a myriad of Shadowspawn Dark Friends already in the books. As we go forward, do you think that the hierarchy of the Shadow's forces will be based on strength and only in the one power, or do you see a potential for weaker channelers or even non-channelers to rise within it?
I think that wit and determination can be just as rewarding in the way that this is structured. Like, I don't think that your average farmer who's a dark friend has potential to really advance, but the people that already have positions of power and have the strength of will to use those to benefit the darkness. I think the power positions I think are just as important as channeling in the Dark One's army.
Well, and I think we've already seen that with Lord Luke, Slayer, that stuff, right? Like, I don't think that he's a channeler. I think that he's like Perrin. And so I think that we're going to see Dark Friends and Shadow Spawn that are more like that as well, who are maybe not high ranking, right? Like, I think that the Forsaken are above everyone, but are a nuisance to our main characters for sure.
Yeah.
We only have one more question, and then we're going to get to some prophecies and spoilers and things. Grant C asks, what do you think are the implications of Matt having memories of other lives? How does that affect your previous perception of where the character was going? And what do you think his future holds now?
I think it's kind of where the character was always going. Even with, you know, with the quarterstaff and the language and like him like yelling in the first book, like in another language, right?
Yeah.
That was always a little bit there.
Well, and it happened with the when he wakes up in Tarvalon and the dagger, he has the memories of Manetheren because of being detached from the dagger in the bedroom. That scene was so fascinating.
Yeah.
That's actually one of my favorite Matt scenes, right? When he first wakes up in Tarvalon is just really awesome. And so I don't know. I feel like, this is always kind of the direction they've been going with him. He's willing to do pretty much anything to get what he wants. And the Tavern-ness is pushing him towards being a good person in a way that I don't necessarily think is natural for him. Like, I think that he wants to live a little, not like darkness, but like live a little bit in the gray areas of life. And what's funny is his Tavern-ness seems to want to pull him to heroism in a way that he's not interested in, but makes him such a fascinating character for us, right? Like, I love Matt. You know, he's not Perrin. I think Perrin's kind of my boy. Overall, I think Perrin's my favorite character right now. And Min. I think Perrin and Min are probably the two characters I'm most interested in. But Matt is... Matt having this, like, destiny that he runs away from so hard and can never escape has been one of my favorite aspects of reading this series.
Yeah. I like that he's become more of a character, and I like that he's going to, I think, be kind of a literary device, is almost like a window to the past, almost, in a sense, right? Like, he has these memories now, and these are memories that, like, he would know better than anybody, right? Because everyone else, it's legend, it's myth, it's hearsay, it's whatever we think may or may not have happened, whereas Matt has the memories of the people that he was who were there. And I think we're gonna learn, I think Matt is going to be kind of the what's the word called? The fulcrum, I think, is what I mean, for like,
okay,
for knowledge that people might not have been able to access otherwise.
Sort of like Rand with the Aiel past. He's going to bring the past of Randland.
Yeah, like,
that's interesting. I like that idea.
Yeah, and I think, you know, and it's funny because he's not really like a character, like a person who's seems to be very interested by that, by stories, by, you know, knowledge, by lore. Like, he's not super interested in that, but he is going to be fascinating to a lot of Brown Aja.
Yeah.
Right?
And probably to some Greens.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
All right, we've gotten through all of the questions, so let's talk prophecies. Someone put together a list of prophecies in this book, and I'm going to read them, and if any stand out, we're going to talk about them.
Great.
So number 1, an Aes Sedai from the Ruidian vision says, "No, that one will come later. The stone that never falls will fail to announce his coming. Of the blood, but not raised of the blood, he will come from Ruidian at dawn and tie you together with bonds you cannot break. He will take you back and he will destroy you." That is obviously about Rand.
Yes. And
do we think that the take you back and he will destroy you is what happened at the Golden Bowl, or do we think there is more destruction coming to the Aiel because of Rand?
No, I think, don't get me wrong, I think Aiel are definitely going to die, but I do think the destruction of the Aiel was their ideals and cultural, like, beliefs. I think that's just more interesting than, like, most of them die in a battle. Because I think a lot of them will die in battles to come. But I just don't think that that's what the prophecy was referring to.
I agree. I think, the next chunk is just as interesting, though. Bayer tells the Aiel prophecies of the Karakarn. He shall spill out the blood of those who call themselves Aiel as water on sand, and he shall break them as dried twigs. Yet a remnant of a remnant shall he save, and they shall live.
Well, and I think this is why I think that, like, he has to do combat with somebody. Mm-hmm. If it's Couladin, then it's Couladin, but I think that there has to be some kind of combat. CJ asked, what do you think by he will take you back? I think it's that he like has kind of like bridged the gap from the Aiel's past to their like present. Right? That information, the information is deadly, and you know, that's why a lot of people don't survive their trip into Ruidian.
I think he might take them back into the Covenant with the Tuatha An.
Do you think that they will serve the Aes Sedai again? I mean, they kind of do.
They kind of do now, right?
Yeah. That has kind of never changed. Yeah.
Who do you think the remnant that he's going to save is?
The remnant that he's going to save.
The remnant of the remnant shall he save, and they shall live.
Yeah, I think a lot of Aiel are going to die in the name of the Dawn.
I think that might be the Tinkers. I think the Tinkers might be the remnant of a remnant of the Aiel.
If the Tinkers are the original Aiel, wouldn't the current Aiel be the remnant of the remnant?
I mean, they were all original Aiel, right? They just split off at one point, meaning that anything that's left is a remnant of a remnant. But I think that it could be in reference to the Tuatha An in a certain way, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into some of Min's viewings here. Number one, Min seen signs of death and suffering around several servants, Aes Sedai, and warders of the White Tower. I think we know what that is. But the second one is that Min sees several Aes Sedai with silver collars around their necks. Yep.
I definitely thought the White Tower was going to fall to the Seanchan. And here's the thing, maybe Aleida and the people in the White Tower left behind, maybe the Seanchan do eventually show up, but they have to fight one another.
Interesting. I think that I think the Seanchan are going to be back in force pretty soon. Yeah. I think they're going to take Tarvalon.
Yeah, it's just weird because like on a map, I'm like, I don't really know.
That's true. What's their direction there is tough.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not really unsure. I don't know how that would really work, but it's kind of like seems like. Just like narratively, it makes sense.
A lot of these are about, so Min's viewings are tough because a lot of them take place, right? Like one is Min has a view of Leanne Sedai where she says a transparent mask of her own face, a screaming mask. That one to me, I think, is about Leanne being stilled.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Ezekiel, thank you so much for that super chat.
My uncle turned me on to you guys. Great time listening to you guys. Shout out to my Uncle Josh for showing me the way to you guys in the books. Oh, thank you, Josh.
Yes. Shout out Uncle Josh.
That's, well, and I'm glad that we're a family affair. That's so fun.
Yes, welcome on.
Also, I can't remember the name of who it was, but to the person who came up, who pulled us aside at Summer Celebration for a picture, thank you so much.
Yes.
I really appreciated that. That was a nice moment for us.
That made our day, so thank you.
Yeah, and everyone who came to the panel for Brotherhood. That was so awesome. It was so nice to get to meet people in person and like talk to y'all, and it was really great.
Yeah, it
I
was.
should have started this whole podcast with that. But yes, I honestly, all with rehearsals for the show, I've learned all of the music for the show in the last 2 days. My brain feels like Star Celebration was like a month ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel ya.
So a couple of foretellings that here. When Aleda is being raised to the Accepted, she has a foretelling that the royal line of Andor would be the key to defeating the Dark One in the last battle.
Yeah.
Do you think that that is just because Elaine is going to be a part of it, or do you think that Aleda doesn't realize that Rand is technically of the royal line of Andor?
Oh.
Because it's true, right? Rand is technically an Andorian royal. He, just will never be raised to that. Like, do you think that Aleda's prophecy is just about Elaine, or do you think it's also about Rand?
Ooh. I didn't think about that. I was like, yeah, so obviously Elaine has to make it to the end. She's going to be, like, pivotal, but... Oh, man. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I think that is a definite possibility. There's a part of me that's like, oh, it's both, right? It's both of them. They have to work together. But that seems like a kind of like safe option. I wonder if Eleda is going to have to come to terms with the Dragon Reborn and a male channeler, because she is going to be faced with the facts that, like, this is the person who her telling was about.
It affects the White Tower. That's very interesting.
Yeah. I think Eleda is gonna have to learn some hard truths. And like, her foretellings are not gonna be what she thinks that they are in the present moment, and that's fascinating. I'm excited for that.
Wheel Up Time also brings up Galad and Gawain are also royal Andorians. So there's a lot of royal Andorians that are important characters right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, here we go. Amis tells this to Rand about his mother, who she calls Shail. An Aes Sedai called Gitaro Moroso, who had the foretelling, had told her that disaster would befall her land and her people, perhaps the world, unless she went to dwell among the maidens of the spear, telling no one of her going. She must become a maiden, and she could not return to her own land until the maidens had gone to Tarvalon. Now, obviously, this one is pretty obvious, right? Because it's about how Rand becomes born on the Dragon Mount.
Yes.
But what I think is interesting about this is we know, obviously we are very much in the Tigraine is Rand's mom, right? But we know that the young girls who are Andorian royals get sent to Tarvalon when they are a certain age, when they're Elaine's age. So I think that when Tigraine was sent to Tarvalon, like Elaine was, that is when she found this out, and that's when she left for the Threefold Land.
Yeah.
But it all came about because of this Andorian tradition, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
The rest are all dreams that I feel like we talked about in the episodes about them. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to go through all of the dreams because we like to talk about the dreams here. Mm-hmm. So Claris, I think that we're getting to the end of the show tonight. Do you want to do some high-low?
Oh boy. Yeah, I do. I don't know how I'm gonna pick a high from this entire book. I know what my low is. Mm-hmm. I have absolutely no idea what my high is.
Do you want me to do my high first and then we'll end with your high?
Sure. We'll go backwards this time.
My high is the Battle of Emond's Field. It's not even hard. It's so obvious. It's like one of my favorite chapters I've ever read. I think it's so incredible. And I'm so glad we started this journey through the books just so that I read that chapter.
Yeah. Yeah. My low is oh God, I just had it. Oh, is Gawain making the wrong choice.
Yeah, it was a tough read. It's like great for like it's going to be interesting to read what happens next from that, but like yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the moment for sure.
That one hurts my heart. It was tough to read. That whole chapter, that whole section was, whew. But yeah, that is my low. What's your low?
From the whole book.
No.
The Aiel Berlane Perrin situation. I'm glad they moved on from it and like got to a better place in the Aiel Perrin relationship. Because like the whole like her punching him and like there's a brief moment at the beginning of this book where I was worried I wasn't gonna like those two.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's stuff in this that I didn't love, and so I'm really happy that they moved past that and got to a place where I really do love what's going on with those characters.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I think that my general high is like being with the Aiel because I find them so fascinating, but Viridian, how it's written, how it's done, what it means for these people, what it means for the rest of the book, what it means for Rand. Like there is so much there. It's so good. It's so juicy. That has to be my favorite part of the book. I honestly might just go read the Viridian stuff again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is that good. It's such a good short story on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, then, to everyone who doesn't want to stick around for Smut Corner, this is where we'll say good night to you. Sorry this was a weird one. I'm sorry this wasn't at our normal time. We will be back Friday the 17th, which seems so far away.
Is it really that far?
Yeah, because tomorrow's the 3rd, so 2 weeks from tomorrow is the 17th.
Oh my God.
So we will be back Friday, June 17th. Keep an eye out for what the reading is going to be, because our Discord has not yet told us what those chapters are.
Oh no, it is in the Discord. It is pinned.
Oh, is it?
Pinned it in the Wheel of Time. Here, yeah, you can go take a look at it and let the readers know what that is going to be. That is pinned. If you join the Discord, please come on in. We got some cool people in there. If you want to ask us questions when we do our full book recaps, that is the place to be for it, for sure. Yeah, that seems so far away, guys. I'm gonna really miss book club next week.
Okay, we're reading prologue through chapter 9.
Yes, prologue through chapter 9.
You're not going to miss book club next week because you're doing something special, aren't you?
Yes.
So I will not be here, but next Friday morning at 11 a.m., Claris will be streaming live to the YouTube by herself. Do you want to let them know what you're doing?
Well, we had kind of thrown around a couple of ideas. I think we've settled. I am going to do a live stream, and I'm going to do a Wheel of Time character tier list. Because apparently YouTube loves their tier lists. And yeah, so if you guys want to help me with that, please feel free. If you would like to help me come up with a list of characters that is only up until book 4, because I definitely don't want to encounter any potential spoilers. But yeah, we're going to do a live tier ranking list of all the characters. We're going to be hanging out next Friday. So I hope to see you guys there. It'll just be me. Nerdy's going to be performing, living his best life in Calgary, and I'll be here. Riley, thank you so much for that super duper chat. So glad you could catch us live. Fridays are the highlight of our week as well, always, and so it's gonna be. I'm sorry that the past couple weeks that things are a little bit off. They're a little bit weird, but I promise we'll be back once Nerdy is home from his performing gig.
Yeah, and start from Friday, June 17th through the summer, there are not going to be any more moments like this. The last week and next week are just two very special things, and we're really going to endeavor to make sure that doesn't happen. Friday mornings are very important to us, and so we really want to keep going with these books.
Yes.
So look out for Friday, June 17th, when I make my return, and because Lee Science asked, Claris will be streaming on this channel next Friday. There will be a thumbnail. It'll be obvious that it's happening. Riley, thank you so much for that super chat. It means a lot. It means a lot that we get to spend time with you guys live. This show has become really just the best I talk about it so much in the real world because I love it so much, and I feel like the people in my life are getting sick of hearing me talk about the Wheel of Time and this book club. But you have all made Friday the best day of the week, and it already was kind of the best day of the week, but now it really is. Now it really is. Grant Christopher asks, "Will you be at Dragon Con at the end of the summer?" We will. Stay tuned, because I think we might try and do something. Stay tuned. Because I want to do something at Dragon Con. So I don't know if you guys are going to be at Dragon Con, stay tuned, because I think we're going to try and do a live thing there, but I'm not sure what that is yet. So
good to know.
Stay tuned. Well, we don't know what it is yet, so we don't even know if anything's possible. So yeah, we will be at Dragon Con Labor Day weekend. We will be at YetiCon June 17th to 19th. We'll be doing the book club in the morning and then driving to YetiCon. If you want to watch us play Dungeons and Dragons live at YetiCon, we're doing a panel with Pink City. We're going to be playing D&D live on stage. So if you're going to YetiCon in Ontario that third week in June, definitely come check that out. And for those of you who do not care about Smut Corner, do something nerdy tonight. Follow us. I'm at Nerdy Nightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
And if you have an iPhone, leave us a 5-star review on Apple. Apparently, that's like the thing that we're forgetting to say that will help the show the most.
For the podcast,
so if you like us at all, go give this podcast on Apple Podcasts 5 stars, leave a quick review, and maybe we'll start reading those on the show next week.
Yes, if you leave a funny 5-star review, we will potentially read it on stream live.
Also, this is sponsored by Audible. audibletrial.com/nerdynightly.
Yeah, I wish
They'll get you free book.
I wish I could paste that link. I'm sorry.
It'll be in the description down below after the video goes.
We are so good at this. We are so professional.
Look, it's been tough. Okay, the last 3 weeks have just been really hard with trips and getting stuff done, and so I cannot wait to be back with you in Toronto doing this live so that we can talk about Smut Corner live.
I know, right? Should my ranking list be like a ranking characters list, or should it be like a sexy ranking list?
Both.
Great.
Simultaneously, both.
I love it. All right.
Yeah, have 2 lists and go back and forth.
Perfect. All right, y'all.
And do each character all right, I'm gonna rank them as a character, and then go to the next tab and rank them in terms of sexiness.
I'll do ranking and then smash or pass at the same time.
Done. Love it.
Great.
Love it. Are there any sex scenes that you would have added to the book, The Shadow Rising?
To the entire book. So many. There are so many. Especially in that last segment. Whoo boy. I really wanted Lanfear I wanted Matt and the girl, I can't remember her name right now.
Isolde?
Yeah. I wanted them to bone down. For sure. Matt deserves it. He's had a rough go.
Lee Science, what's the Grimwell Cup? Oh, you know what I would have loved? For Lanfear and Rand to cuck Asmodean. At the end of the book, Lanfear makes Asmodean watch.
I would love for Rand to be in one of his dreams, and for him to think it's actually a dream, and it's just him, Min, Elaine, Lanfear, and Avienda. And it's just it's just the best dream, but then he wakes up and realizes that the whole dream thing is weird.
But Lanfear remembers it. Lanfear's there and is your dreams are messed up.
Yeah. Lanfear's wow, Luce, you're really you're getting kinkier.
I want Matt to remember a life from the Age of Legends where lube existed, and he brings lube into the present by being we make sex so much better. You guys, I remember this thing from a past life. And so Matt becomes rich because he becomes the dispenser of lube in the modern world.
And that is how Matt becomes rich.
I mean, he's already kind of rich, but even more rich.
You know what? Fair.
Matt becomes the Rockefeller of lubrication.
My God. Wow, I don't think I can top that. That's great. That was fantastic. I
tweet that out without any context. Matt becomes the Rockefeller of lube is such a weird sentence that came out of my mouth, but I said it.
You did say it.
Is that where we should end the podcast?
Absolutely.
Do you know how to end the podcast?
Do something nerdy tonight.
I meant on the computer.
I just press end stream, right?
Both. You have to end both streams.
Right. I will do that. Y'all, thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you're in our Discord. And if you're here, please like this video. Please just drop a like. Helps sacrifice to the algorithm gods. And yeah, I think that's it.
If you're in Calgary, come see Ragtime. It's going to be really good.
All right.